Morning, everybody. I hope you can see my screen. I hope you guys are ready to rock and roll. Welcome to the Swing Trading Room. It's Monday, April 6th. Welcome to Market Mondays for everybody who is with us on YouTube. Looking at the markets, real choppy, real choppy mess here. We called a little trade out right before we left. Depending on what you took, if you took the 1 minute trade, it actually hit target. That's what I did. Hit my target, stopped me out at even, and then we've rolled back down. Really choppy session. If you took the 5 minute continuation move, that probably would have stopped you out on it. So that was kind of our day trade room this morning. Let's jump into the S&P, see where we're at, because we have something fun happening today that is important to note and recognize. Okay. So Mark, what is that? Yesterday, or not yesterday, but last week, we started a new quarter, right? So we had this huge conversation about the quarterly chart, how we went engulfing. Now we're in a battle zone to see if this goes bearish. If we do go bearish and we take out this low, that opens the door to go take out 6,200 and then goes to 59 and then goes to 55.97 and then 53, right? The monthly chart and the quarterly chart are going to look the exact same through the end of April, because the quarterly is based on 3 monthlies. That's multiple time frame pairing type stuff. Nice current Harami at the moment. And then the weekly chart is going to be a little different. The weekly chart is breaking strides. So now the weekly chart is going to look different than the monthly chart. Not a ton, but it is going to look different. All right. So that's the important thing. We're starting to see where buyers are going to position themselves this week for the quarter. And that's what's important. So right now on the week, we just took out this weekly high, which is of note. So let's edit. Let's actually delete this. We will duplicate this, drop it down. This means that we could either go bearish engulfing, depending on what happens in our news cycle, Iran, sellers, all the fun things, or if we continue to break up right now, path of least resistance is 66.51. Jump into the daily chart, we look at that, and that opens the door now on the daily to break 66.51, which puts us in a potential transition to pull back and then keep going higher. However, if we do go engulfing and we drop, that is no bueno. And that's where we're wanting to look to, right? So we got to see what happens here. Trump speaks at 1 o'clock. We'll see what he says. That could send the market higher or lower, depending. Right now, and engulfing on the week is 63.16. That is also the continuation of the month lower and the continuation of the quarter lower. So if Trump comes out and he's like, we're going to bomb the crap out of Iran, we're sending in ground troops, we're doing XYZ, and the market gets freaked out about that and rolls over, we end down here, that's a continuation of everything lower. Right now, that is bigger picture. We're not in a transition. We're still in a downtrend. We're still in a downtrend. Okay. So throwing these moving averages, this is just a move into the 21 EMA. We could come a little higher here, but right now that's that we're in resistance. That's where we're at. If we add all of our moving averages here, we're just now getting back above this 200. If we close the day lower, I would go ahead and start to position for a bearish drop. It would be a very small move, very small position, but that's what I'm going to look for here. Okay. So this is a rally into resistance, looking for the thing to roll back down. When we look at that, here's your drop, move up, inverted hammer, drop, inverted hammer, drop, inverted hammer, drop. Now, the only reason, by the way, we did not take this move lower, or it might have been this move, one of these two moves. I think it was this move. The only reason we didn't take, yeah, it was this move. It was the second move right here. The only reason we did not take this short, A, we didn't fully get the trigger, but B, this was FOMC, and we didn't know what the rate decision was going to look like. So we didn't position ourselves short here. But I mean, if we look back, it was pretty easy to see all of that old support. This becomes new resistance, retest it, fail. We're in the exact same situation right here. So let's see how this thing closes today. And what we may end up doing is looking for some bearish positions on the S&P. What I was really hoping for was that this quarterly level here hold. And so we're a little bit above that, but I was really hoping that that quarterly level held, these monthly lows held, and then we rolled over. If we would have got that, I'd have been very pleased. All right, so we didn't get it. We just got to see what happens. What I'm going to do, though, if we take a bearish position, there's a couple different ways we could position ourselves for that potential bearish move. Number one way is we go to our inverse ETFs, and we'll look at the rest of the indices to make a better decision. But we can use SH here. This is a 1-to-1 off the S&P. So right now the S&P is up 0.21. This is down 0.2. So this will follow percent for percent. SPXU, this is a 3X. S&P is down 0.19. 0.19 times 3 is roughly 0.52, 0.6, right? So this is a 3X. So if the S&P moves 1%, this will move 3%. That's what this is saying. I may take this one depending on how this looks. This is right now about a 2 to 3% risk to come up and make 12 to 13%. That's pretty solid risk reward here. So we'll watch that one. And then we have some other opportunities in hedge, PSQ, PSSP, SQQQ, DOG, like RWM. All of these would be for the other indices, which would be the NASDAQ, Dow, and Russell. So this is kind of what I would look at here. If you wanted to get crazy, you could actually trade options off this as well. I know that Otis has done that in the past. A few of you other guys have done that in the past. But come in here, you could look at trading these options. I don't know if the bid-ask spread is going to be worth it. These are really big bid-ask spreads. So I probably would not do that. If you want to trade an option, the best way to do that is going to be SPY. And you would just trade SPY puts here and use 660 as your stop. So what I would look for here would be coming in. I'd probably jump out to May's rather than go to April expiration. This is wildly liquid. You wouldn't have to worry about any of your liquidity here. This is why we day trade SPY. It's super liquid. You can come in here and set up, like a 665 put. Another idea is to do a debit spread here. That would still minimize your risk really nicely. Let's go 665. So we're going to try to target 640 off that drop. Do that 665. We can come into 640. That would be an $8 risk. We analyze this trade. And the nice part about this is you're reducing your risk here by $1,000. Let's take this in. Let's go 660 is my stop. First target is going to be 646, 640, 630. $630. So this would kind of be your downside targets here at the moment. So let's say that this took, I don't know, till April expiration. You're risking $300 off 1,800. That's not bad. I mean, that's 340 divided by 881. That's an 18% risk. That's super reasonable. Super reasonable. But if you go sideways, you're down $187, right? So it's not most ideal, but if you do a debit spread, you go down, you're actually making $36. If we stop out, you're only losing 26. So super reasonable. Plus, if we drop, look at this, you're risking $26 to make 350. So very, very reasonable setup here. I would like to potentially grab some of these, depending on what happens. Now, if all of this is driven by news, what you got to understand is if this is driven by news and this deadline comes in tomorrow and in the last hour they open the strait and all the oil ships go through and all that, this could explode higher and you take a bigger stop than you would be anticipating. Right. So there is risk there, which is one reason. If you're new, if you're not used to trading options, I would highly encourage you start with an inverse ETF. If we take a position here, go with the inverse ETF first, then look at the option trade. All right. Then look at the option trade. So that's the S&P. Let's look at the Dow real quick. Dow, good push up here. We're trying to figure out, is this quarterly area that we're in? So this is your quarterly close, open, close, open. I mean, that is a strong level right here. Is that going to hold? If we look at this monthly chart, you've got a beautiful monthly uptrend right here. Like that looks fantastic. That is a gorgeous monthly uptrend. This is not triggering to get long on the month, but man, that is pretty. That is really pretty. Weekly chart, trying to push. We have not taken out this high. We did go engulfing last week. I really like this 46,366. If this holds as resistance, which you're like, well, it's already through it. So would that still, I'm looking at it from a weekly standpoint. If we were to drop and close the week kind of like that, then next week I could look for a bearish position to come on down. Just don't know if we're going to get that. From a daily standpoint, this looks like an attempt at a transition. Let's throw these moving averages on here and see where we're at. Again, right at the 21. I mean, this is still in major resistance. This is still in major resistance. This is not transitioned. This is still much more bearish than it is bullish. NASDAQ up about 100 points, right into resistance. Look at this downtrend. Man, that is just a nice looking downtrend. We're right into this big drop, this big drop, all of that. Boom, there's a flush. Buyers want to go take out this high. That's where buyers want to go. If this holds and rolls over, that's trouble. That is trouble. Again, weekly chart, we did take out that weekly high. That opens the door to go engulfing. And engulfing here, however, at 22.8 is the low of March, is the low of Q1. So that's a continuation move down if we take out this weekly low. Again, we don't have to do it this week. I'm just saying if it's there. Russell honestly looks better bullish right now. It looks like we're trying to transition. This is a retest the high. A pullback here is the goal. Good bounce. And then again, monthly standpoint, this looks more bullish than it does bearish. So it's kind of a hurry up and wait. Is this a transition or not? Is it a transition or not? Gold, good pullback, good hold. I want to see if we get a move higher here on gold. If we do, I like that into 5,000. And let's go ahead and pull up silver. Really nice pullback on silver. I like holding the $71 area as well. We may be able to take a position on this. That's 8%. We'll look at SLV in a minute, but if we can get follow through, I like that back up into 83, 90, 96. Bitcoin up 2,800. Really good push up here. Nice hold. If we look at the weekly chart, trying to develop support here. Nice on at 65,405, trying to hold that support. Right now, we are stuck inside this 2-2 bar, though. Look at this weekly bar. This thing is huge. 24% drop. We are staying in that range. If we can break up, I think we run. If we break down, I think this drops significantly, maybe down into 50 or below. I'm going to clean this up, though. do that. If we can break last month's high, I think we fill that gap and get an attempt at a transition. Let's see if that plays out. And then we have Ripple underneath this 131 or 135. Not a huge fan. All right. All right. All right. As far as our trades that we were looking at, Merck, if you're still in this, just move your stop loss up, keep riding it. Prime, trying to give that trigger this morning. Bullish. We're trying to get a fresh trigger here. I do like this. I like this in this 321. I told you guys last week, we kind of had this drop, initial pop. I said, let's see how this day closes. It closed low. We want to give it one more day. Just in case we kind of get this move up, fail, hold support, and pop. It looks almost like what we're seeing. Here's that move up, fail. Let's see if this holds support, gives us that trigger for that continuation move. But I like this. Need a trigger. If we get one, this is a decent looking long. The question is, the question in my mind here is, if the market rolls over, does this roll over with it? What's that going to do for us? All right, we've got SLV. This is your silver as well. Potential transition. I want to see if we can't get that transition up here. If we do, I could take a SLV position long. So I'm going to wait for that. End of day, GE Aerospace, trying to come back alive here. Maybe they'll fix the toilets on Artemis. I don't know. Can you imagine being in space with a toilet malfunction? Oh. If they are in space. Bum, bum, bum. Half of y'all are thinking they're not in space. The other half's like, you're crazy. They're 100% in space. You'll never know where I land. All right, GEHC. This is GE Healthcare. I like the 69 area. Look at the support here at 69 by 70, man. That is a strong zone. No trigger. No trigger here yet. Tomorrow might be our telltale. I still like this, though. It's on my list. I like that. Zoom, great push up. If we can pull back into the 79 again and turn, I will take this bullish. Like if we can get this move up and turn, I'm going to look to take this bullish. I like that little uptrend that we've got working here. I want to see if we come back down into that zone. In fact, I'm going to move this up just a fuzz, kind of into right at 80, right there. I want to see if this drops down. If this drops down and we get a 30-minute trigger, I do want to look at taking this long. Apparently, there's some kind of new variant, COVID variant that's out there. Have y'all heard about that? Anybody? Bueller? No. So I'm interested to see what this does. No, there's a new COVID variant. Yeah, it's like a legit thing. Apparently, people pull their skin back and there's bumps all in it or something. It's crazy. And so, is it the flu? Is it COVID? Is it another reason to have mandatory lockdowns, put people at home? I don't know. If it does, yeah, right, Jake. Is it poison ivy? If it does, I think this pops and we come back into 92, maybe 100. But I like this. Look at the structure, though, right? Again, most of the time, what we see is that we have structure and then a reason comes out for the continuation move. All right. So that's what we normally see here. If we get a pullback, look how pretty this would be, right? So we've got this little downtrend. You break up, support, 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 really pretty channel. This one we didn't take because we were waiting on it to come back down a little bit lower. It didn't quite get there. Here's your gap, right? Boom. Come back down. Okay, are we going to channel back down here from 78 to 70? Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. We were waiting on that trigger, never got the trigger. Waiting on that trigger, never got the trigger. Now we're back up. There's that uptrend. Right now we're back up here. So a pullback into 78 where we've had support 1, 2, 3, almost 4 times. We've got resistance here and here, and then all of this support and all of this resistance. That makes loads of sense. We get the trigger, boom, we take that trigger, and then lockdown ensues, and this thing goes to the moon, and we're all geniuses. That's the hope. So we need a pullback on this. We can get a pullback on this. I really do like it. So I'm stalking this like a lion stalking a gazelle on the Sahara. I don't even know if that analogy works, but we watched The Lion King this weekend, or it was on in the background. AIG also potential channel. Good hold down here at 73. Good push up here. Where are we at on this? 4.6% risk to make 4.6 to 6. This is a 1-to-1 right now. So we're kind of in that. If we're going to buy it, we need to buy it zone. Here's the other side of these trades. Let's say we do take some bullish positions. If we do that, I would for sure take a bearish hedge here just in case. So I would for sure take some SH because this is still set up short. And right now, based on our intraday charts, this looks more bearish than bullish. So you day traders, just watch this. We've got 9 minutes to go. If we have a 15-minute Harami, a double 30-minute Harami, that's also going to give us, we for sure are going to get a Harami on the S&P and NASDAQ or and NQ. This is what it looks like on the NQ. And then this is the indices. We'll have a Harami and Harami. Now, if this breaks higher, we're going to run. If this breaks lower, I think we drop back down to 65.56. So watch these two charts. If that happens and this rolls over and we're down here again, Trump speaks at 1. So I'm going to wait to the end of the day before I take any kind of position. But if this rolls over, I want something to hedge because a lot of these bullish trades probably would not work out. Probably would not work out. All right. Aurora, good move up. Big inverted hammer. I'm not going to do anything there. Bloom Energy coming back into this 135 potential channel support. I need a new trigger here. So here's your actual trigger, but we're underneath support, right? We don't take triggers under support. We don't take triggers under support. So we want to see this area hold. We're back in that zone. Tomorrow, if we were to get this look, I could take this bullish here, put my risk here, and then see if we can't get all the way up into 170. Coke trying to transition here. I wanted to take this short. I was kind of looking. for a drop right here for a continuation move. This is shifted. This is trying to transition up. Now we're getting into our watch list. WGS. Look at this support off the weekly. Boom, boom. Back into it, trying to get this pop higher. Downtrend. I need a transition here. Once we get a transition, then I will. Let's take that long. Taskus. This was interesting to me. This is one of those stocks from COVID that just got, it's down probably 90 something percent here. 97%. However, I like this monthly jump into 10. Go into this weekly chart. Look at that potential weekly channel here. We've kind of come back into it through this 3-9 jump. I don't know what this was. Earnings report, something happened here. And if we go through that gap, we're holding this open. So there's your low at 640. Move up into 730. A lot of times you see these gaps hold. So I want to watch this one. I want to watch Shopify here at 111. Sprouts. Again, this is one that's gotten hit really hard. This did really well with the run up last year. You're down 64%. That's huge. Nice hammer harami on the week. To me, this is an easy stop. This is an easy stop. We've got this potential to go from 75 to 81. Nice little channel there. Nice little channel here. About a 5% risk to make 5, possibly 9. Coming up into this higher level at 85. So I'd want to be aware of this one here. I'd want to be aware of 81 here. A strong close. I could look to grab something here. Let's just see if we get a good close. Again, but we could use a 4% stop to make 5 and then 9. We wouldn't have to go to that wick. That doesn't look bad. Are there any deals running on prop firms? I think Apex has a 90% off sale right now, Dale. Give me a minute and I'll look for you. Give me a minute and I'll look. I want to say they were running like a. Yeah, they're for 3 days, they got 90% off for the next 3 days. And it's coupon code safe now. If you want to do that. Ruger, not looking bad. Little uptrend here. Little hold right here. Potential jump up into 47. Transition here on the weekly chart. Watching this thing on the month. You're in major quarterly support. This is massive quarterly support here. Like this monthly level. That's a good monthly level. It's a good weekly level. Look at this weekly hold here, man. Ooh, okay. I like that. Move up, failed, move up, failed, move up, failed. Got above it. Little harami here, dropped. Not sure why this went so crazy today. That's a big drop. Yeah, this is Ruger. RGR. Follow through tomorrow. I could look at this, trying to come back up into that 43 plus. Good hold though. What's the other one? What's the other gun manufacturer? Come on, redneck brain, you know this. Smith. What is Smith and Wesson ticker? Is it SMW? Be easier if I just Googled it. Thank you. Nope. That's not it either. SWBI. Smith and Wesson brand. That's it. SWBI. All right. Same. Very similar look here. Very similar look here. Good quarterly hold at 880. Dang near a channel. I mean, that is dang near a channel. Buy bounce at 881. Look for moving to 17. Double your money once every 2 years. It's not shabby. Strong support resistance here at 13. Look at this. All right, there's your downtrend, transition, uptrend. Here's this 1364 area. Good move up. Weekly chart. Still looking for that follow through. I think I like Ruger better still. I like Ruger better. All right, we'll keep an eye on those. Match group. This one, even though it looks super choppy, like very small, I was looking at this off the weekly chart. Look at that weekly channel. Look at that guy. I mean, that is a solid little 20% channel here that we're trying to rock and roll with, right? 11 coming up to make 13. This would be a 6.5% risk. Easy risk. Trying to come back up and make 8, 14, and above. So let's watch this. Springtime, man. People are falling in love. Let's watch this for a long. Cybersecurity Datadog. I was watching these guys. I was hoping that 117 held. It has not. Market starting to fall also. There's your double 30-minute Harami and a break lower. We just broke off the S&P and NASDAQ down as well. We may see that downside move. Or we may chop till Trump speaks, one of the two. Here's that drop. Here's that drop. Walmart, we were looking for a bearish trigger here. Never got one. Never got one. No trigger, no trade. AMD, good move up. I wanted to see this hold 215. Potential channel here kind of between 192 and 220. I'd like to see how we hold here. GM trying to hold up at 73. Yeah, ivermectin's a non-patented drug. So pharmaceuticals can't profit off those as they would. Now, what really did well during 2020 is oh man, what's the name of it? It was a really small stock, but it went from like $4 to 30. All right. Remind me we're on Tesla. It's in the healthcare sector. Go look at some of these healthcare sectors. It's not DGX. Good gap up on Eli Lilly. Immunotherapy, something immunotherapy. I was hoping I'd see the ticker symbol and recognize it. I know it's not any of these. I'll have to come back to it. But I would go look at XLV because all of those names did really well. All those pharmaceuticals did really well. All right, Tesla rolling over. This is coming into that 350 area. This looks rough. Netflix, good gap up and failure. I want to see if this 100 holds and drops back down. I would love a channel here on Netflix. It's channeled in the past. I'd love to see if it does it again. IoT, back in potential resistance. If we get a short here, this could be pretty as long as we have options. Not great open interest. You'd have to go out to June. You could do it, but you'd have to go out to June. Your open interest in May is just not there yet. Now you could sell a call spread. We could sell a call credit spread. There's plenty of open interest for that. That's not bad. Let's see what this looks like. Waiting on a pullback on Alcoa. Moderna, we're watching this uptrend on Moderna, speaking of pharmaceuticals, seeing if we got a trigger. We never got what we wanted to see. This looks like it's going to roll over now and drop back down to 43. So we'll keep an eye on this. I'd love to see Google roll over here. If we get a short look on Google here tomorrow, I would take this $300 would be my stop, trying to come back down to 270. Right at that 21. Look at this, man. This was pretty. Here's that 21 failed. We talked about getting bearish positions here on Google. Some of you did. There's the drop lower into the 200 at EMA or SMA. Yeah, EMA. Here's your move back up into the 200. You got the 100 directly overhead, the 50 directly overhead. If this rolls over and we get a bearish signal, to me, this is an easy drop back into 280, 270, maybe 250. The easiest way to take this trade, and we don't have a trigger yet, but the easiest way to take this trade is going to be your inverse ETF on Google, which is GGLS. This is just a 1-to-1. And so you would buy this just like you do shares, and you would have a 2.5% risk to make 9. I mean, that's phenomenal. So let's watch Google, see if we get that bearish idea on it. Nvidia is still struggling here. I mean, this is still very much in that downtrend look. Very much in that downtrend look. Now, this could pop and try to transition. But we've been kind of stuck in this 186 area for a while. A break of 164, we're dropping to 150 and below. If that happens, the market's most likely going to drop. Apple's been very strong. Apple's been very strong. This thing's just a prince. This is why the market's holding up so well. But it's still in a downtrend. It still doesn't look, it's not out of the woods. I'll tell you that. Good move up. Quarterly chart took out that low. If this quarterly and monthly flip down, or if we drop tomorrow here, this is going to be bad news for the market. Meta giving up its gains a little bit today. Microsoft trying potentially to transition, but this is still major downtrend. I still got more bullish than bearish, but then there's the ones that are bearish are like market movers. They can move the whole market. Crocs, we were waiting to see if this channeled could move up. I want to see what happens here. Ideally, we get a pullback, we hold, and we rally. If we can get that, that'd be great. Pullback, hold, and rally. Fortinet, good move up from 77 back to 83. See if that rinse and repeat back down. Teva Pharmaceuticals trying to hold up at 28. This is just moving really quickly from 20. I mean, this is a 10% move that moves fast. Look at today's, the range of today is 7%. That's a lot. I do like this resistance in Okta. Waiting on a bearish trigger here. We're waiting on this Thursday. Right, here's this move back up. We were waiting to see, does this roll over? In fact, we wanted to see the drop here. It just gapped against us. Like we don't take gaps, right? So one thing that you should remember is you do not take entries on gaps. You don't take entries on gaps. You can, it's just harder. It's way harder. Virgin Galactica. That space SPCE. You got to watch out for these headlines, man. Virgin Galactic soars. It's up 17%. From its all-time high, it's still down 99.81%. I don't call that soaring. I do think that with the IPO coming up in SpaceX, some of these space companies could see some really nice upside, like a SpaceX. Rocket Lab. These guys are probably the closest that you've got to SpaceX. And you got to understand that they've already had a move. These guys have already had a move. So you want to be careful there. You also have ASTS and Lunar. Lunar, we've traded numerous times. We've traded this one quite a bit. Yeah, it's all relative. This thing's going crazy after it's dropped 99.99% of its value. I wouldn't mind seeing if this is a channel. I wouldn't mind seeing if that channel holds. Oh, that's a pretty short. This has earnings in 2 days, so we can't do anything here, but man, this is a pretty looking short. Oil companies back in support. Let's wait and see what happens here. Again, the downside with oil right now, with everything going on in Iran, the volatility in those may not be worth it. UNH, I do like this, kind of getting back in that 271 channel. This has earnings coming up in about 2 weeks, so we'd want to be careful with that as well. CoreWeave, not bad. Not a bad zone of support. Let's chart some of this out a little bit. Not a bad zone of support here. I do want to see. These are monthly targets. If this quarterly breaks, we're going back down to 39. Great hold on the week. Really nice weekly hold. Got an $89 target and then a $100 target. Got that gap fill right here. That's pretty. I like this $97 gap fill right here. Also, because when you look back across on it, not only do you have it here, you've got all of this resistance. Look back here. That's this earnings high, almost open. And then you have this little gap area as well. Really nice area. So what we'd be looking for is this zone to clear, because this is your last earnings gap. You tried to run up, tried to get this little uptrend, failed, took out that low, buyers came right back in. That's a good sign, believe it or not. And we're just kind of sitting at that 85. What would this be? Bigger risk, though. You're talking 12% to make 8. If we break this high, chances are we get up into 97, and now it's worth it, right? Now I'm risking 11% to make 18 to potentially make 25. That's worth it. That's for sure worth it. Right now, that's tough. I'll add it to the list, but it's not my most fave. Cisco, if we break 76, I think we've got a lot more downside on it. Costco's a beast. I'm still stalking these energies. If we can transition here, now again, obviously this is significantly off its high. 83% off its high. We're at our IPO price. That would be a monthly engulfing. If we go engulfing, then we're probably hitting 17. And then if we hit 17, we could go engulfing on the quarter. What would be nasty if we get an engulfing on the quarter, that opens the door to try to do it on the year. You got to flip that 15, though. From a yearly standpoint, looks like we're going to try to come back down to 3. Got to break 10. We've got to get a transition. If this transitions, I may be I may grab some of this for like a longer term look to get back into 20, 30 and run this thing back up. Look at a couple more nukes in just a minute. Allstate super sideways. This is a mineral company holding that $8 support really well. XYZ could be a rinse and repeat here. Look at this channel. Beautiful weekly channel. We use this example all the time. Could be a rinse and repeat. Good jump lower here. We're breaking this high. What is this? 8%. This has really struggled at 66. I'd like to see how this closes, but we're looking at a 9% risk. Now, that's an easy risk. I mean, your stop is at 55, 67, but you've got to respect 66. Whereas in the past, we would just look for that move on up into 80. We've got to respect that 66 because of all of that resistance. What would be great would be this pullback, break, pullback, and rally. It's worth watching. Y'all got anything you want to look at? Anybody have anything you would like to look at? Any ticker symbols? Anybody on YouTube? Yeah, Claudia, we can look at QQQ. Show. So again, this is more bearish than anything at the moment. This is more bearish than anything at the moment. So this is the NASDAQ, right? This QQQ is the NASDAQ. So at the moment, this is where we're at. We're in a downtrend. And we're also in really nice resistance. Support, support, all that support. Now it's resistance. Now it's resistance. Now we're back into resistance. So I would be looking to take this bearish. From a structure standpoint, you don't have a trigger yet, right? We don't have a 30-minute trigger that I'd be looking to see to take this bearish, but this is a bearish look, no doubt. If you throw your moving averages on here, your top three, which is your 821.50, you're right at that 21 EMA. If you throw all your moving averages, which is going to include the 100 and 200, you're still underneath everything. So to me, this looks great for a drop. I just need the trigger. And we don't have one yet. Now that could happen at 1 o'clock because Trump's speaking. Another thing that I just kind of noticed here, granted, Thursday, we had a short week. So this is actually Thursday, but big move, very low volume. Gap up, decreasing volume. Nice big move, good big volume. But then you look at all of your selling volume here. It's not like it's crazy buying volume coming in. So we don't have any crazy buying volume. To me, this still shows more bearishness than it does bullishness. And so to me, more than anything, this is a good place to start considering shorts. And the best short on this is going to be SQQQ. Now, this is a 3x leveraged. So if you've got to be taking that risk of a 3x, or you can go to PSQ, which is a 1-to-1. So right now, QQQ's up 0.4. This is down 0.4. And so this will move 1-to-1. So this would be a great way to do it. Or you can do an option if you know how to trade options. But again, to me, it looks better bearish. All right, TGB. Claudia, I hope that helps you. Let's go mines. There's your downtrend. Move up, pull back, transition, pull back. This is trying to transition higher. You've got a quarterly here at 5.7. Now, I'm just looking at this from a strictly technical standpoint. I've not looked at the fundamentals on this. I will in just a second, but I haven't. I do like the attempt here to transition off the weekly chart. You've got this gap off the weekly. You've already filled that. Let's look at the fundamentals. Requires and developmental properties, explores for copper, gold, Napoleon, silver deposits. Gibraltar mine in south central British Columbia, Florence, copper in Arizona, yellowhead copper. Out of Canada. I like this gap up here. So one thing that I'm seeing, you see that big push right here? We hit it, pulled back. We've broken through, trying to use that as support. Look for that move up. That's not bad. If you took this trade, I mean, you're looking at about an 8% risk. So you'd at least want to come back up into 750 and above. Don't have a ton of buying volume in here yet either. It's trying to work a transition here, Dave, but it hasn't finished a transition. We can add it to the list. We'll look at it throughout the week, but I don't mind doing that. I wouldn't get it here. I'd want to see a transition. Pull back and then take that trigger long. That's what I would look for personally. That's what I'd look for personally. Okay. ONDS. I thought we looked at that. This looks more bearish than bullish to me. I like the pullback on the monthly. This is an uptrend. You're in your pullback area. I want to see what this monthly chart does. I'm not a fan of this engulfing to the downside here. You did find good support. Weekly chart. This is more bearish than bullish. So if I look at this, Bert, I've got resistance, resistance, support, 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 and now we're underneath it. I'd have to see what we do. If we can climb back above 10, maybe this moves up into 11. Right now, just looking at this, I would think we get the trigger short for a drop. And if we dive into the 1 minute or the daily, it kind of fleshes out that thought, right? Here's this channel, looks really good. Old resistance or old support becomes new resistance, right? Remember the analogy that we have of a house that we use sometimes with the two stories? Story one, story two. And I always ask you guys, what is that? Is that support or resistance? It depends on where you're located, right? If I'm up here, it's support. If I'm down here, it's resistance. Same situation. And so looking at this $9.75, $10 area, if I'm above it, okay, I'm looking for that to hold and take a bounce. If I'm below it, I'm looking for this to roll over and take a short into 8. And the fact that we've got that look, I would take this bearish. So I would need a transition here to take this bullish. You're below all your key moving averages. And this is very optionable too. You could take an option on this short. You just need a trigger, but you could take this option for sure. So our stop loss here. I would give this to this $10 area. So if you go out to May on a short, risking 200 and let's call it 220 just to make life easy. If you're risking 220 and this goes till April, you're only losing $48. What is that? Let's call it 50 divided by 220. You're losing 22%. That's not bad. Downside target here is going to be 8, 775, and then 6. We'll do 850 to be generous. So your downside targets here, you're basically risking $48 to make 53, 93, really 93 to 113. So almost a 2-to-1 on that. And again, what's cool about this is you could turn this into a debit spread if you wanted to. It's liquid enough you could do that. And now you're risking 10%. If it goes sideways, you lose $3. If it hits targets, you're making 2-to-1 on all of it, which is really nice. You just need a trigger. You don't have a trigger yet, but you need one. I like that. ET, we looked at this. Catherine, looking for that pullback here. We need a trigger, pull back and trigger. Again, this is going to be one of those straight up Hermuse trades. You're in support. As long as 1871 holds, I would consider this bullish. You just need that trigger. You don't have it, but as long as it holds, that's what you need. Navan. I don't know what these guys look to. I like this gap though. AI powered software, simplify travel expenses. This is like AI Expedia. Is that what this is? I would wait to see if we retest 1126 and see if it holds. If it holds and we get a trigger, then I would look to take that back into 14. This is why we don't take IPOs. All right. We've talked about this before, but this is why we don't do it. I'll do a YouTube teaching on this, but this is why we don't do IPOs. Everybody gets excited. They're like, this is going to go gangbusters. And everybody who's in the first round of fundraising that you don't get to be a part of, they sell and it drops. And you buy it because it's the hot new thing. And that's what they want. They want you to think, man, this is going to be the newest technology. This is it. Go buy it. Go buy it. So everybody that gets those first, second, third round seed funding rounds when the company's brand new in 2015, they are making payday here. This is their cash out day. They cash out, boom, this thing flushes, comes way down here, and then they start buying back in. This is why I stay away from them for the most part. You got to be willing to lose what you risk if you're going to do an IPO. Yes, we do have a YouTube channel. It's at Neos CDG. I'll put it in the chat for you. If you haven't subscribed to us, please do the subscribe, like, share, all the fun things if you get value out of our teachings. We go live twice a week, and then we try to post a training once a week. So like 3 videos a week. Honestly, it just depends on my life and how crazy we are. I do like this if we can hold 11. If we can hold 11 and get a fresh trigger, Jake, then I would consider this. Pesky. Paramount Skydance. Film. Down 91% high to low. Look at that. That's fun. I've got nothing here until you get a pullback. I mean, this is just super bearish. This is super bearish. Maybe it comes back to $10, which I mean, you're getting really close to. Like 1046, look at all that support. If you can get back over 1046, then I like it. Until then, I can't do anything here. You get over 1046, maybe this comes back to 13, 14. Make sense? Thanks, Catherine. And then last but not least, silver. We're going to wait on silver. We're going to wait on silver. I want to see what this does. All right. So real quick, just kind of tell you guys where we're at. We're hanging out at 6,600. Market's really stuck here. It's been a choppy day. Not a lot of action. Trump speaks in 45 minutes. That could drive the market either direction. Based on what he says, NASDAQ looks more bearish. S&P looks more bearish. If we close with an inverted hammer here, I will look to take a bearish position on this into tomorrow. And I'm probably not going to do a lot of options on it, but I would look to take something into tomorrow. Potential trades we've got right now is Prime. That actually looks really nice for a channel. If we close here, I could get a starter position. This would be about a 13% risk to that low. We could take it a little bit lower, like 9%. Looking for that 28%. We took that trade back in February. It was a banger. So I do like that. Silver, I want to see follow through here. GE Healthcare, I'd like to see a trigger. We don't have one. Zoom, I want to pull back. AIG looks really good. This is 4.5 to make 4 to 9. AIG looks good. And then there's a few more that we'd go through, but those are kind of my top that I like. We've got some potential bearish setups as well. Let me add all these up here. Yeah. Got prime, GEHC, match. IoT, that could go short. Match looks pretty decent long, back up into 35. CoreWeave, this could be a nice bullish trade. And then ONDS, this would be a short idea on a trigger. You also have other stocks like Google. This could be a short. We just need a trigger. We really need to see what happens with Trump speaking. Again, this could close wildly different. If we close near these lows, I would look to add a bearish position. And it could be something that we add today. It drops. We get a really quick pop tomorrow, like drop down and take the position off tomorrow. So it might be something fast. I'll update everybody on the daily market update for that. Okay. So be watching for those. Be watching for the post and the enhanced membership, and we'll go from there. So I hope this helps. I love you guys. Appreciate you, everybody who's on YouTube watching. Appreciate you guys. Hope you got some great value out of this, and we will see y'all